It is the Matt Mosley Show, and Rogue Media Network, 365 Sports, and Scott Drew joining us now. And you can see him there. Man, looks great. He's made me second guess my choice of wearing a cap because he looks nice and he has the collared shirt. And I thought I was hoping he would be, post pickleball round. But Scott, I just want you to know, starting a new show, which every show I start ends up being called the Matt Mosley Show. Obviously I can't really get away from that. But and Scotty Swingler here with me. We're rolling this out today, and I just thought of you immediately. You were the first guy I thought of, and I just said, if I'm going to roll out a new show, I got to do it with my guy. And so welcome to the all-new Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network.
Honored, privileged to be here, and any show you do is always a good one.
Well, I appreciate that. I was trying to remember, Scott, the first time we met. Okay, I'm not trying to make this into like one of America's great love stories, but what was odd is I had covered, some Baylor people were a little mad at me, although I think I did the right thing. I covered the scandal before you showed up and won some awards for it. And I went from covering that, the morning news, to immediately covering the Cowboys. And so you show up on the scene, and man, I knew all the players, I knew all the people who had reached out to you, but I was covering the Cowboys so hard at the time that I wasn't down there quite as much. And then I remember, Scott, as like over the years, Heath was there, and then of course David Kay after him, and they would totally take care of me. And it was before I was actually like covering Baylor. I was still just a fan, right? And I think Heath probably at some point was like, Mosley, you don't get to come to every game, And he would sit me down there. But I do remember I was never much of a heckler. But the one time I got caught doing some Ashley Hodge type activity was at SFA game. And I hate to bring up a bad one, but it's that one where they beat you with a last second shot. And I want to tell you that's
how you want to start the show.
That's really on me. No, these memories are coming back, but I just wanted to say that one was on me because I worked them over the entire game. And then after the shot, they all turned around and gave me all kinds of grief.
Well, thanks for that, because I was up all night.
Yeah. Well, y'all recovered nicely that season, and you did what you always do. But there have been many sort of crossroads along the way. But yesterday was a big one for me, and we'll get into the World University Games, and I want to talk about your roster and all that kind of stuff. But I had a life event yesterday. I'll take off my glasses for this. Hopefully I don't start crying again. I dropped my daughter off at college. And yeah, it's double ooh because it was in Aggie land, and I've kept you up to date.
I'm gonna start crying for you now.
But you had to do the same thing with your daughter. I don't know if it softened the blow some because it was at the campus where you were, but still, you were moving her into a dorm. You were moving her. She was leaving the house. Did you get pretty misty-eyed that day, or what do you remember that being like for you, kind of moving her in and that whole process?
Well, actually, it was really more the day after, because the day after you get up and you walk down and you look in your daughter's room and it's like, oh, she's gone. And where did those 18 years go? And snap. Then it hits you. Or it hit me. Dropping her off wasn't so tough because I knew I'd see her the next day. But in the morning when you wake up for breakfast, you walk down, everything's quieter, and you're like, crud. Amazing how time flies, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And so I'm getting used to this new normal. Now, you were smart enough to kind of like spread this thing out and I did a one and done situation. Yeah. That kind of has a Baylor basketball tie-in, right? So in one respect, I'm glad I only have to do this once.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have them kind of moving out in succession. And so you'll be able to kind of do this. And I just all at once is kind of tough.
I can't relate to that, but I know that to me, that's harder, obviously, because now, I mean, shoot, you're an empty nester too. I mean, you're facing these things. So
I know. And I thought if she came down there to Baylor, because I'm down there all the time, that would make it easier. But yeah.
Well, Mosley, I don't know if you've heard, there's this thing called the transfer portal, and she might not start here, but she'll finish.
Yeah. Well, she is saying she's going to go to PA school at Baylor. So I don't think she's understands that may not be in Waco. Well, yeah, I thought, man, Scott's been through that, and little different situation, but your daughter has flourished, and I bet it's been so fun. I've seen her interviews over the years and things she's done and been involved with the program. Do your kids live and die with it, like as much as you, your wife? Like who takes? I would say probably you take the losses the hardest. Who's second in the family as far as like who has a hard time kind of functioning after a loss?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think probably my wife, and just because I think we've done a pretty good job, and Baylor's such a special place. A lot of times we hear from my coaching friends that or other places. I mean, after a loss, their kids get heckled at school and all kinds of stuff, and even teachers make snide comments, and at the end of the day, you never want that to trickle down to your family. And what's great about Baylor, and I think the Waco community, Central Texas, just there's a line, and what I mean the line is they know them for them, and not based on if we win or lose a game. And I know it comes with the territory. You want people invested. You want people to be sad when you lose, but I think just not taking it out on your kids, everybody always appreciates. But my wife probably bears more of the brunt of that in the community and everywhere. And the longer you're at a place, the more you care about it, the more you want to make people happy, the more you don't want to let them down. So obviously I take it the hardest, and you invest so much time into it. But that's what's great about parenting is similar to coaching, because you have the ups and downs, and just like I think everybody can relate to that, and that are parents. Like anyone that's ever had a son or daughter go to college or move out of the house, they can relate to that feeling, And when you're coaching young people, I mean, everything is relatable to raising kids, because that's basically a coach. You're in charge of getting them from where they're at to where they want to go, and there's a lot of ups and downs in that, and that's called life. And it's a great responsibility and privilege, but at the same time, again, everybody's job's hard enough. You don't need to have a bad Wi-Fi connection to make your job harder. And I don't need my kids getting picked on at school to make my job harder, because it just puts more on your plate.
Yeah. And you growing up in a coaching family, and you and Bryce just have a really good understanding of all of that, having dealt with it over the years. 23rd season. It's hard to believe. I mean, I don't know. I guess sometimes it seems like it went by in a snap. And I heard you talking recently with Andy Katz about, being at Everyday John's wedding recently. I think you went to one for Jalen Bridges. I mean, like, that's got to be the neatest thing. And I bet you've probably been to 10 to 15 weddings over the years of either your former assistant coaches or players. But when you reflect on it, 23 seasons, does it feel that long? I mean, you are one of the deans of you and Bill Self. It is kind of crazy to think about, because I think you still have that youthful energy. I think you've got a little Pete Carroll in you. I think if you wanted to coach into your 70s, you could, because you kind of have a little bit of that Carroll, energy. But like, what does it feel like? Does it feel like you just started yesterday, or what is it as you start year 23? Do a lot of things come flooding back memory wise?
Well, I can tell you, whenever you go to a wedding or you see your past players, like now, Matt Samons, the coach of Midway High School, and you see their kids, how big they are. it won't be long before we're recruiting some of our players' kids. I think Mamadou's is 5 years old and his is already Duncan. So we might get commitment at age 6. But my point to that is you go to weddings and you see people you haven't seen in 10 years or their families. Like we have a lot of former GAs and people like that. And actually officiated my first wedding with Jalen Bridges and Maddie. Their wedding, and I think I was more nervous for that than coaching a game. I didn't want to mess that thing up. But what a great opportunity anytime you can see your old players and their families and just see how far they've come and be able to share life and do life with them. As far as coaching Dean's, Coach Izzo's 30 years at Michigan State, and then the next two highest are Coach Self and myself at 23 years. And then I believe Coach Painter is at 20, 21, 19, somewhere in there. So we've all been really blessed to be able to do things that we love to do at one place. And I think that's comes full circle when you weddings are always better than funerals. But when you get a chance to be a part and see the old guys that you haven't seen maybe in 10, 15 years.
Did you have to become ordained, or did you have to fill out anything to be able to do that ceremony?
Yeah. The process isn't overly strenuous, but definitely I want to make sure everything was official. So, yep, we got it all certified and all done. Coach Driscoll actually was the first coach on our staff that said just what a great experience it is. But I'll be honest, it's a little stressful too. You don't want to mess things up. That's a pretty big day for them.
I just was at a wedding where the dad walked his daughter down the aisle, and he gave her, who gives this bride, her mother and me. And he then turned around and did the wedding, the father of the bride.
Wow.
This was up in Telluride, so it was a nice setting. Yeah. But I would not suggest that, Scott. I mean, when that comes time for you, I would say just walk her down the aisle, then go sit down.
Well, and I'm one of those guys. People start crying, I'm crying. You can't get through it.
Yeah, I think about a funeral recently that you were involved in at my church, and it was Carroll Dawson's, and I just thought, I mean, that's probably one of the most amazing, groups you could ever get together, because we brought some of the greats of all time in the NBA together. But I did want to ask you about your team, and it seemed like y'all had a good time in Germany. You played this. I heard you talk about this. This was a different, and I got to watch some of it. This was a little different level of competition. Some of those games in the past when you've taken a tour, a lot of blowouts, and this was interesting because you had to leave some players behind. I know Michael Rataj could hang out with y'all, but he had to play on the German team. So there were some awkward things, and you had to pick up a player from the Ivy Leagues because of various reasons. But I guess, first of all, Scott, how cool is it I heard you talking about this. There must have been a really neat ceremony to start all this. There were other sports involved. How is it, just because of your reputation, Baylor's reputation as a program, how has Baylor seemingly been able to represent the U.S. in the last, I think it's twice in the last 4 or 5 years? How does that happen? How do you get tapped for something like that?
So first, I got to show you a picture. This was Carroll Dawson's funeral, and you see Yao Ming. I'm sitting next to Yao, and it just speaks volumes for Carroll Dawson that man, Yao Ming, whatever he is, 7'6", whatever, gets on a plane and flies 18 hours to do the funeral. But I never felt so small in my life. I've been next to a lot of big people before, but he is a gigantic, enormous man. Like one of the kindest people out there. Great man, but really meant a lot that he would be there for Carroll Dawson's funeral. And again, that just shows you again the blessing of sports, friendship, people that you have a chance to be a part of their lives. So back to your question with university games, perfect tie-in because you have foreign countries and sports brings everybody together. for all those that love the Olympics, you love turning on the TV, you watch opening ceremony, you see everybody a part of that, and you're like, man, that is so cool. And how few people ever get to be a part of that. Well, the university games is basically that. It's just on the junior level. And what I mean by that is they have young Olympians from the Paris Olympics that were there, and then they'll have future Olympians that are there. And I didn't realize it was such a big event, especially for the international countries. The U.S. doesn't get as much notoriety in it, but what was it, 28 million views or 30 million views? I mean, like crazy how the awareness of it. But you're with all the future table tennis, taekwondo, fencing. Those were the people that were sitting around us in the area. But like they call the country out and everybody's stage. You're walking out, and just the excitement and to see everybody's nation's best there and future Olympians there. And then they walked out, and it was 30,000. I don't know if it's 35 total when you include the Olympians that were there, but it was just like you see on TV, and you're like, man, what a cool experience. And I know how excited I was. So it's something our student athletes will remember the rest of their life. You're wearing Baylor, you're wearing USA gear. That's all really, really cool. Now, coaches know whenever you get picked for a foreign tour, every 4 years you get a foreign tour, it gives you a great bonding experience. It gets you competition, it gets you additional practices to get ready for the season. So it is a benefit going into the next season. And that's why foreign tours, you only get one every 4 years. But with university games, they started choosing colleges. I don't know if it was like 12 years ago. And the reason they did that is kind of like with the USA basketball teams, they try to get the same people building up so there's some chemistry on teams. Remember when we were doing all-star teams, we weren't having as much success because you're going against Lithuania that practices and plays together. You're going against Brazil that practices, plays together. So they wanted to pick college teams because they practice, play together, have chemistry, and the college teams have all medaled. I think we've only had one win gold, but we've had everybody medal since then. And that's really good because countries do have different age groups. Like some of them, a lot of 23, 24, 25-year-olds, where most our college athletes are 18 to 22. So I say all that to say we fared well. Again, gold is the standard for men's basketball, but compared to the success right before, and Nell Hawkinson and his group with Basketball Travelers have been in charge of putting together the American team. And they've had, I think, Kansas, Purdue. And then we were supposed to go right prior to COVID. And because of COVID, it got canceled. And then now we went.
All right. Well, it was fun to watch. And just so you know, in my mind, y'all won gold because that game, y'all are doing so well. I went ahead and moved on with my day. So I've decided just in my mind to remember that differently than maybe how you remember it.
I love how you always think so positive, Mosley.
Very extremely positive. Okay. I am curious about this. You had to flip an entire roster. I know Cam was here part of last year, but did you reach out, Scott, to any of your coaching buddies that had to do something similar? I mean, it's not like you're totally alone in this. And when you get a new coach at a place, a lot of times they'll have to have a whole new roster. But this is a very new thing for you to have to do. Did you had any of your past experiences, or anybody that had to basically do a complete overhaul? Did you reach out to say, okay, what's the best way to approach this?
Well, that's a great question. So let's start with the first thing, and that is I asked Josie today to this interview kind of sparked it, and we had an athletic staff meeting right before this, and someone brought up, I don't know if there's ever been a team that's had a complete roster flip that made the NCAA tournament. So I know we love doing things for the first time. So when Josie finds that out, we'll find out and go from there. But I know that that always excites me as a coach. I mean, we're the first an only team to win a national championship in a COVID situation. So we wrote the book on that. And we're the only school, remember the first couple of years, Mosley had a little more hair. I did as well, that only had a half season. So if anyone's ever in those two predicaments, we know, and we're the only ones they could ask for advice probably. So with that, we'll see a lot more teams facing similar situations. Coaches always talk, is there anybody in particular? No, just the coaches that I normally speak with. Lots advice. And I think we've all kind of learned, even from the last year or two with so much turnover, what can you put in? How much can they adapt? What can they learn? And that's where this is a little different for us too, because we did have a summer where with university games, we were able to put in offense, defense, and then from there, see what going forward this fall, when we have everybody back, what we want to pick up on, what we want to take out, what we want to. So it's kind of like you get algebra 1, and then now we'll be in algebra 2. So it's not necessarily like you're starting from scratch right now.
Okay. And you made me think of your other coaching buddies. You and Mark Few have that shared love of fishing. And I know you only get to do it every once in a while. I'll give you time to take a peek at this. But I understand that just in the last 24 hours or so, 48 hours, you were in a fishing tournament. And man, those people, and I've spent a lot of my life in Waco. This is that Central Texas and into Austin. This is huge fishing. And these are very serious competitions that take place. And you guys finished second in and I don't know if this was Bassmasters or what level. I don't know if I'll see this on TV soon, but you guys won second place. I understand, pretty impressive looking bass. Can you give me the dimensions on this bass, and can we have a look at it, please?
So actually, I'll pull it up on the phone. 7.2. So that's a good size bass anywhere. But so they have a fishing tournament on Wednesday nights in Waco, and whenever I'm in town, I like to go for 5:30 to usually 8:30 or 9. And you weigh in your 3 biggest fish. And to me, that's the one time I can put that phone down, get away. And with that, it's competition and fishing. So those are two things I love. I love competition. I love fishing. I got that. My dad, my brother, and I, that was our getaway. We'd go in the summer for 2-3 days, talk basketball, go fishing. And as you know, recruiting comes into play too. So I always go with my partner, used to be a semi-pro fisherman, and he always knows where they're biting. So a shout out to Kendall Lovin, always put me on fish. So it's, as you know, you got to be with the right people. So anyway, it becomes catching if you're fishing in the right areas.
Yeah, and I want to be respectful of your time. The problem for you now, Scott, is, with radio, you have like certain deadlines. And so it's like, hey, sorry, we got to go to commercials now. And things on YouTube are a little more flexible, but Scotty will probably be in my ear before too long. I'm just curious, on this team, Michael Ratai, Tunde's your guy that could be a one and done. Ratai's obviously going to play some form of professional basketball. Do you have several leaders that have started to emerge? Like, have you already noticed, like, even practice and then in Germany, and it's hard because you had to leave a few of your foreign players at home, but what's the leadership like on this team? And if I said, hey, who are the 2 most vocal, who are your leaders right now on this team? Would you be able to tell me, or is that still a work in progress?
Well, I think it's a work in progress, but we do have a couple that kind of emerged. And what I say by that is we still haven't had our full team together because Michael Perez just joined us after, as far as playing wise, after our German trip. And then obviously we didn't have international guys go over there. But I think our staff did a great job bringing in not only talented players, because they got to be talented to play at this level, but a group that really is fit well together. They get along off the court. They're fun to be around. And at the end of the day, you want first and foremost us to represent Baylor University in a way that'll make you proud. And the blessing with that is it's not just winning; it's how you compete, how you interact in the community, how you represent the school. Jason Smith's our GM. He did a great job putting things together. And again, in this world of NIL portal with things changing and rules trying to be stabilized, very, very excited about what we were able to put together. And I think the strength of this team probably will be the depth and length and athleticism. We had several players, Dan Skillings, Cam Carr, Michael Ratai, and Obi all got recognized over in the university games for their play. With that, I think because they had different media sources like All Tournament and whatnot. But I think the size and length and athleticism. Tunde was just at the Nike Skills Camp with Cam Carr, and both of them really did well there and did a great job for themselves in Baylor University. So a lot of different strengths and possibilities.
Which players were the two that emerged for you leadership wise that you were referencing?
I said a couple. Matt Mosley. I think naturally you'll look at the two of the older guys would be Obi and Michael Ratai, but then also Big 12 experience. You have Cam Carr, JJ White's another guy that fifth year in college and with us, and people look up to. So again, I think right now we have a couple guys that people look up to. And with that, Caden Powell was the first on campus. He finished at Rice and got back here, and everybody asked him, because being from Midway, where do I go? What do I do? So a lot of leadership possibilities this year. And I think, again, that'll be a strength of this team. I think if you return people, that's a natural leader. People been in the program maybe 3-4 years. You put more on their plate. You expect more from them with everybody being in their first season. And Cam was here at semester, but he'll be playing for the first time. I think many hands make light work in this situation. And I think we got a lot of guys that will have leadership capabilities. And at the same time, our depth will be a strength this year to the team. Where last year I thought we ran out of numbers at times.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And the last thing I had for you is the fans that you hear, and you know they're out there, that grumble sometimes. The one and done. And it's like it's a catch. It's like it's pretty awesome to have this run. You had 2 1 year in the first round. You've done it before, and so I know you know all these stats, but you guys are on an incredible run. And so and again, some of these guys you didn't even know were going to be first rounders. You thought you might have them for a couple of years. So it's not like when you're recruiting, you're like, we know we're going to lose this guy in the draft every time. But like the folks who are like, I'm tired of the one and done, obviously we're all selfish and we want these people to stick around. And yet I look at Duke, and y'all played them in the NCAA tournament, and they had 3. And you've held off on trying to do that. In fact, there was one guy that played for UConn that I think was interested in Baylor, and you could have pursued him. But you don't really love, I don't think, having 2 or 3 freshmen that have to kind of have everything on their shoulders. Some teams and some coaches are more comfortable with that. Have you tweaked any of your approach? Because it's hard to tell you, Scott, stop going after guys that are going top 5 in the draft.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you understand fans are like, oh man, okay, that was fun this year, but we're losing him. Yeah. It's just hard to keep them these days.
Yeah. Well, I think let's go first of all with hindsight's always 2020. Is there anybody that wouldn't have wanted Cooper Flagg last year? I think everybody would have taken Cooper Flagg, correct? For us, is there anybody that wouldn't have wanted VJ? I mean, VJ had a great year, great ambassador for our program. He's going to highest pick in Baylor history. Will help Baylor for years to come. When people talk about VJ, they're going to talk about Baylor. I mean, who wouldn't have taken VJ? So like you can go up and down the list, and the guys that we've been blessed to coach not only have been really talented players, but then the next question is who's not a one and done? everybody leaves. So now if the question is if everybody is a one and done, meaning some go to the pros, some transfer to another school, now I think everybody in a perfect world, there's not a coach out there that wouldn't want to say we want the oldest, most talented players that have been in our program the most years.
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't want that? I mean, everybody would want VJ to be here 4 years, Cooper Flagg to be there 4 years. Who wouldn't want Norchad O'Meara? Who wouldn't want older, experienced players? But you'd like them multiple years if you could get them. So I think it's a transition until the rules get stabilized. I don't know if there's a right, wrong way. I think everybody, again, realizes if you can return talented players, every coach would want to do that. Every program would want to do that. And at the same time, I think it's really hard to have 5, 6, 7, 18-year-olds that are all one and done, because that hadn't worked out exactly either for people. But there's no exact science right now until I think things stabilize. And what I mean is look at the COVID year. That added everybody an additional year. So normally 23 is going to beat 18, and everybody wanted to get older. Right now with the international, I mean, you can't look on Twitter without a day somebody signing someone from overseas that's 23 years old. And a lot of that's because the rules are different. Guys that were considered pros overseas are not considered pros anymore. So that's opened up a whole nother landscape for people to recruit from. So again, I think a lot of this is in transition right now. People are trying to figure it out. We've been blessed to put together a heck of a run. The only school to have 5 straight years with a top 19 pick. And if you say, well, what about winning? Only us, Gonzaga, and Houston since 2019 have all won a game or more in the tournament. So that's not bad math right there. We've won, and we've had guys that have been one and done. And again, I think if you there's no exact science. I mean, Rutgers had 2 really good freshmen, didn't make the tournament. We've been blessed to have one and dones and make the tournament. So, and again, look at the fans out there. They get a chance to watch our guys in the pros the next couple of years or 10, 15 years. And then remember, everybody we recruit, they want to be Keontae George. They want to be Jeremy Sohan. They want to be Off Night. They want to be VJ Edgecombe. So the next ones want to come in because they've seen them do it and they want to be them.
All right. And by the way, is there anybody on your staff that's replaced Jacobs in terms of the globe trotting and knowing the globe? John loved that. And I think it was a very valuable guy to have on the staff. Is somebody stepped up and racking up all those air miles and convincing you they need to go to Romania?
Yeah. Jason Smith, our GM, is traveled just about every country, I think, this summer. So he's executive platinum for a reason.
Scott, I appreciate it. Say hi to Scotty, by the way. Scotty, jump on here. I had told there he is. So he's a great guy, Scott. You're going to like him, and he's a huge Baylor guy. And in typical
I love his first name to begin with, and I love that he's wearing green. So, I mean, we got a lot in common, and I think that's a gold hat, so it's a wrap.
In typical Mosley form, I had said, Scotty, if you have something to ask Scott, get involved or whatever. And, of course, I've dominated everything, but I'm going to be better about that. But I just hadn't talked to you in a while, and I appreciate it. But, yeah, Scotty, say hi to Scott.
Hey, Coach Drew. Very, very thankful for you. Excited for the season coming up, man.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you and all you're doing to help Coach Mosley. That's
Absolutely.
a full-time job.
Absolutely.
Now my life is going to be full of pickleball, or I really, you're not an empty nester yet, but any of your friends who are, like, I need, like, text messages. I need some support here. So I got to figure out what this looks
like. I see the trail of tears still there,
I mean, I was struggling. Meredith took a picture, and I was, I did not hide it well, but I let all the parents clear out. And so I was like, I don't really want everybody watching me just fall apart in the parking lot, but I'll be okay. I'll invest even more time into Baylor basketball, right?
Hey, and Matt, one thing I'd be remiss. I told you it's a transition time. We're so blessed to have Mack Rhoades be involved with everything he's involved with, spearheading it, trying to make sure that the college landscape can. Everybody wants a level playing field per se, to the best of the ability. And President Livingstone and every committee she's on. So Baylor has a big part in playing just the formation of the new rules after the House settlement and everything, which is really neat.
All right. I'm told President Livingstone has told people this is her new favorite YouTube show, streaming show. So she's been passing that around. And so
Love it.
Yeah. Scott, thank you very much. And I will talk to you soon. The first guest on the Matt Mosley Show on Rogue Media Network. This is big, Scott. I mean, this is one of the highest honors a coach can receive. So,
and I appreciate you allowing us to receive it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. There he goes. Scott Drew on the Matt Mosley Show.